This is Bottom of the Six. I'm Brady Klein alongside my good friend, Josh Schaefer. No Hunter Brownstein tonight because he's got a meeting. He is listening in, though. Who knows? Hunter might... Maybe we can get in and call in, do a three-way.
We love you, Hunter.
We love you, Hunter. We miss you. We've had a lot of two-person shows.
Yeah, we were just talking about
missing.
that. Yeah, you know, a lot of two-man shows this semester, but then for the times that we're all here, we make it good, and
yeah,
I think we do a good job.
We do fine.
Yeah,
we're great.
It's not bad.
Nah, we're decent.
Heck of an intro edited by Brady Klein today. Oh yeah, gotta love it.
Love that song.
Oh
Great
yeah,
song.
we got a great show today as well, talking about some of the biggest news around sports. Of course, if you were able to identify some of those fantastic calls, we'll be talking about the closing of Joe Louis Arena, the historic Joe in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the Red Wings, as they missed the playoffs this year. We'll talk about that. We'll talk
First
about
time in what, like 20?
Yeah, 25, 26 years, something like that. It's wild, but
it's impressive.
It is impressive. They've been going out in the first round a lot lately, but it's still very impressive. We'll also talk about the retirement of LA Kings Hall of Fame voice Bob Miller. He retired a few nights ago.
Good friend of the show.
Yes, a good friend of the show. I have a relationship with Bob, and we were able to catch up with him when the Kings came out to Glendale to play the Arizona Coyotes earlier this year. And then what we will do to start off the show, that last call, I'm not sure if you were able to identify it, but that is a call from Didier Drogba, a goal back when he was in the Premier League, as he has now, the legendary Didier Drogba, has signed on to play with Phoenix Rising FC, the USL team here in the Valley of the Sun. We're going to try to get out to his first game in a couple of weeks. And what about that? Isn't that fantastic?
Let's get one last listen to that call. I really like that call.
Yeah, let's listen to it one more time.
That's Martin Tyler on that.
One more time? Martin Tyler? Yeah, let's go ahead and listen to that.
Drogba, look at that! Oh, look at that! That is sensational. With another special.
That was sensational.
Sensational.
Sensational
What a
goal. Oh, yeah, you hear that a lot with the British soccer commentators. But like we said, we do have Didier Drogba coming out here to the desert to not only play for Phoenix Rising FC, but to join the ownership group.
That's going to be one of the big things, and that was one of the interesting stories, too, was I was following the news, and I saw this a couple weeks ago because I was involved in talks with the team, so I heard a lot of the news and heard this was a big thing that was possibly going to happen, and you have multiple guys who've played in the BPL now on this USL team, including Sean Wright-Phillips, younger brother of Bradley Wright-Phillips, former New York Red Bull. Bradley Wright-Phillips, current New York Red Bull. But Didier Drogba, this is huge.
And you got the press release when it came out just a few hours ago, so you were one of the first people to know this before it was tweeted and everything, but you got the official press release from Phoenix Rising.
And what's really cool and what could be huge for this and for this team, Phoenix Rising FC, the USL affiliate here in the Phoenix Valley, and playing some good teams, beat Los Angeles Galaxy 2-1 the other day, this past week on Saturday, for the first win in technically franchise history, because after the rebranding, Luke Rooney scored 2 goals, no relation to Wayne, as we first thought when we first saw it.
My favorite player.
And he was the USL Player of the Week, actually, this past week.
Yeah.
But this could be big for Phoenix's hopes to an actual MLS expansion team.
Yeah.
Getting a guy like legend. He's a legend.
He
playing
is.
for Chelsea. Didier Drogba.
I mean, he started playing with Chelsea in the 04-05 season. His last year was 14-15. In 254 appearances for Chelsea, he scored 104 goals and had 54 assists. His highest goal total was 29, that coming back in 2009-2010 in 32 appearances with 1 substitution coming into a game late. His second highest was in 06-07 with Chelsea. He had 20 goals in 36 appearances. So, you know, there were some spurts of not a whole lot going on. So started off, you know, moderately strong with 10 goals, 12 goals, then he goes up to 20, drops to 8 and 5. Then he has the great year in 09 and 2010 with 29, and then casually drops off a little bit with 11, 5, and 8 goals in the next 3 years, respectively. But really just a player that is a legend in the world of soccer, and the fact that Phoenix Rising can get him to come to the Valley of the Sun, to play for this developing team, and to really get that name on the team, other than Wright Phillips, other than Rooney, but to get that legendary name on the team. Bravo. Oh, yeah. But when you can get that legendary player on the team and also in the ownership group, that is the next step to getting a professional Major League Soccer team here in Arizona.
Well, here was the big thing, and here's a quote from Drogba, actually. He said, quote, "I had offers from China, from England, in both the Premier League and even the Championship, but they were only as a player." Mm-hmm. So he really wanted to be a part of a management and an ownership group. I mean, he's made enough money. He's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where he goes, but the reason he came here was he's 39 years old. He's almost 40.
Yeah.
His career is going to last 2 to 3 more years because he's not playing at the peak competition level. He's still playing at a professional level, but he's not.
It's not
it's not the BPL. And it's not La Liga. And it's
obviously,
not anything like that.
The fact that he came here over the fact that he came to a USL team, not even a Major League Soccer team here in the United States,
or even an NASL.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so interesting is, let's be honest, the top flight of American soccer is, I don't want to say a joke, but it is overlooked on the international scale.
American soccer?
American soccer.
Agree.
You think about Premier Leagues, obviously you think of the Premier League, you think of the Barclays Premier League, you think of the La Liga Santander in Spain, you think of the Bundesliga, you think of Serie A.
In Italy,
you think of all these, and League One in France, you think of all these leagues before you think of the American League, which makes obvious sense because clearly the United States is not that prime location when it comes to playing professional soccer. However, now players that get older are starting to come to the MLS. They're starting to come to China. You're hearing rumors that, Steven Gerrard left Liverpool and came to the Galaxy. David Beckham left Europe and came to the Galaxy.
Rumor mill beyond belief that a guy like Zlatan Ibrahimovic is going to come to a U.S. team.
He won't next year, but he will eventually.
I could see him coming to that new Orlando team.
Yeah, and there's also a lot of speculation that maybe Magic Johnson, Mia Hamm, Nomar Garcia-Parra, and Will Ferrell could get these players to come to LAFC as well.
You see that, but then when you go to the Orlando team, who's the owner of that? I believe Beckham's on the ownership group of it, isn't he?
I think he is too. I believe so.
Kaká's playing on there too.
Kaká is too. Kaká is a player that's been in the league for a few years now. But the thing that impresses me the most is the fact that, yes, he turned down an offer to go to the Football League Championship, which is the second division, the second tier of English football. He turns down that. He turns down a Premier League offer. Of course, we can only speculate that it was probably like a Hull City or a Middlesbrough, because you see the top teams, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City. These are teams that are probably not going to go out and sign a 39-year-old player who's out of his prime. So they're probably not going to sign him. But there are teams that are, of course, striving to remain in the Premier League and stave off relegation. So they could go after him, and he turned down those offers. He turned down a Football League Championship offer. He turned down an offer to go to China, which is where a lot of these older players are starting to go. And instead, he doesn't even go to the MLS. He goes to the USL. And to get on the ownership group, it's huge, because we know that Arizona would be a prime location for Major League Soccer. So the fact that they can get him here, and there's already a fan base for this team. There really is.
It's a very solid, very good fan base,
especially for something starting out.
Yeah, Phoenix has a soccer team. This is technically the 4th year of the team, first of Phoenix Rising FC, because they did a full rebranding.
Now, what were they before?
I believe they were Scottsdale Soccer Club.
Yeah,
I believe it was.
During football season for ASU, we were given these little brochures that were like, oh yeah, like Arizona United, we're trying to go like pro, and we're like, oh okay, whatever.
Yeah, but when you look at this team, you look at the ownership group of this team, which is really unique. Adding Didier Drogba to it now, a lot of times you'll see an ownership group has like 5 or 6 people. The ownership and the management of the group,
it's interesting.
It's very, very interesting. And one of the cooler things that I saw on there was how many owners and how many different disparity of the owners there were. So some of them, the club grounds are on, I believe it's Pima Indian ground.
Yeah.
So they have part of the tribe there owning the team, some high-profile people. But what's even more weird is you have a guy, I don't know if you know this, Diplo, the DJ?
Yes, I was going to bring that up.
I was trying to pull up one of his songs while we were talking, because I was trying to milk that out a little longer. But Diplo, the DJ, is one of the owners of this team.
Yeah. It's just
And now you
impressive.
add
The
Drogba to
ownership.
it.
Yeah, it's impressive the way they got it. The rebrand it's sleek, it's professional, it's just an attractive logo. You know, it's
very cool logo and great branding, by the way, today. So
with Drogba, yes, they have the logo is a shield, and it has a phoenix, which is a firebird, flaming and raising up out of a soccer ball. So it is a circular logo that's placed on this shield that says Phoenix Rising FC. So when the Drogba news came out, they took script Drogba and made the O and took that Phoenix soccer ball logo and cropped that right in there. And so I think this is a huge thing for the city of Phoenix and for the area. It's great.
I just looked and counted. Currently, not counting Drogba, there are 13 co-owners on the team.
That's amazing.
Most notably, obviously, being Diplo and now adding Didier Drogba to it. And I mean, I don't know if you've heard anything about this team, but I was at the first game of the season, and it was I think it's, I believe, a 6,500 seat stadium. Mm-hmm. It's a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, it's small. You know, the MLS doesn't have the giant stadiums that you see in Spain and in England.
The biggest one you could probably think of is Sounders, but that's because
in the United States. But they don't even fill up the whole thing because that's CenturyLink up in Seattle, the home of the Seahawks. And of course, you have Yankee Stadium in New York for NYCFC, and I believe do the Red Bulls play at MetLife? Is that where they play?
No, they actually have their own stadium.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, Red Bull Arena.
I did not know that. I did not know that. Mm-hmm. But there are some decent-sized stadiums. You know, the one in L.A., they're going to make one that's about 20,000 people for LAFC. And then, you know, the Galaxy have StubHub Center. Mm-hmm. But
Red Bull Arena is a 25,000-seat stadium.
That's impressive. I didn't know that.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
It's a good-sized stadium.
Yeah, it's a good-looking park.
Double-tiered. It's good.
I like
it's big size.
Yeah, but you know, I think this is the next move for them to get into the quote unquote top flight of American soccer. Now, when do you think we might see a change in leagues come along for Phoenix Rising?
Do you mean
moving up to the MLS? Yeah,
I'd say at minimum 2 years because I don't know. They applied for it this year, but I think it was for the 2020 season to go into the MLS. Mm-hmm. So they have to have timing, fill out all your paperwork. Money is also a big factor in this.
Yeah, that could mean a lot.
And a stadium. Yeah. Because if you're an MLS team, you're going to have more than 6,000 people.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure that's something they're going to work on. But you got to think about it. There are places they can play here.
Sun Devil Stadium.
So I think that'd be a great soccer atmosphere.
For us, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. But, I mean, the renovations
even in Glendale, I know.
Yeah, it's a ways out there, but people will trek out there for the Cardinals. The Coyotes are another story because we've talked about that before. The Coyotes cannot get fans out there. No, they can't. And, you know, if they had to, I mean, we've seen what Yankee Stadium does for NYCFC.
Yeah, they could
So we've got Chase Field right here downtown, just a few blocks away, the home of the Diamondbacks. So I think there are a lot of possibilities, but I like what you said about at least 2 years.
Now, that could be an interesting one because I believe that would be, if they were MLS, I believe that'd be the only... No, Minnesota United. I was going to say it'd be the only indoor, quote-unquote, indoor MLS stadium.
I think...
Does Minnesota United play indoor?
No, they might, but I know that I believe the Vancouver Whitecaps play at BC Place, which is, I don't think they have a retractable roof, but I think that's indoors as well. And I think that's where the Women's World Cup final was between Japan and the U.S.
Minnesota United actually plays in an outdoor stadium.
I believe BC Place is the home of the Vancouver Whitecaps.
I'll double check on that.
Yeah. So we're going to move on here, and Brady will get us that information in a second.